I'm going to hold it too. I want to start out first by letting everyone know up front, I'm a stand-in for tonight. I'm going to do my best to do this properly. The gentleman that was supposed to be here is very widely known throughout the university, Coach Fred, and he's unable to make it tonight, but I want to do the best to try and represent my sister as best I can. My memories of the actual softball team were when I was in school down south in Florida, and I would have to come up for the spring break special softball tournament that they would have. They'd spend a week down there in Orlando, Mickey's Land, and the team would come down in shuttles, vans, and as cheap as humanly possible, and staying in I'm not going to say the best hotels, to say the least, but ultimately they had an unbelievable time, and it was one of the few times in my life that I got to see my sister excel. I was there from the beginning. When she was growing up, she was my shadow. A lot of times I'd go and do my baseball practice and stuff like that. And I'd come home and she'd want to be a part of it. And it was one of those things that, as far as being a part of my life, at first she was a little bit of a nudge as far as that goes. Always trying to get into the pickup game on the corner, around the block. You know, back then at that time frame, we were pretty much responsible for raising ourselves. You know what generation that is. So I was responsible for my sister half the time and trying to figure out what team she was going to be on. Needless to say, she followed my footsteps, very much in the same path. And with that, I was very proud of what she was able to do. She also was able to overcome some stuff and deal with something in the way of an opportunity. I know that there's been some folks here that have overcome way more than what my sister has at this point. But in small town New Jersey, trying to be a girl, trying to get up into the Little League standings, back in the time frame that we were doing this, she dealt with a lot of politics, to say the least. With that, she was actually convinced by a few key people in her life that pushed her in the right direction to be able to actually not necessarily stand up for her rights at that point, but to do something and make something better and show people who she was and what she stood for in the way of character. She went on to go and engage a pitching coach and learned how to basically throw underhand at rates of speed that most people were not very familiar with, to the point where the same politicians that messed with her at our local town, and I won't mention its name at this point, but they got to the point where she got so good that even on the girls' softball league, which was underhand, of course, they got to the point where they outlawed her pitching in that league. Yes, they worked that into the whole thing. And with that, she was only able to become a player in the field as far as that goes. She played third base and was able to develop very good offensive skills in that time frame and really wear it out. And I'm not going to get into all of the specifics about her statistics. She was able to set a stack of records through Widener University. Many of them were pitching, but there was plenty of offensive records as well. You can go see your programs for that. Some of them she still holds at this point. There's many that have since been eclipsed, and she's second or third on the list. But unbelievably, she's risen above that, excelled in what she does, and has become a woman that I'm proud to be a part of her life. Welcome to the stage. 2024 Widener University Hall of Fame inductee, Jennifer Kowaleuski Loughlin. There we go. Okay. You want to hold it, or you want to?
I guess I'll hold it. Go for it. They spelled my name right. That's a good thing. Wow. Wow. When I was called and told that I was going to be in the Hall of Fame, I was like, holy crap. What an honor. Just thank you, everybody who voted for me. The committee, I was asking people tonight when I was talking to different folks, I'm like, how did they even pick me? How did I get voted in? Like, how does this work? I don't even know. But the one thing I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you, Chris. When I was thinking about a lot of things about what I might want to say tonight, I definitely wanted to make sure I told the story about how me and my brother, I was not the only good ball player in the house. My brother was also extremely good at what he did as well. And we used to play ball in the house, much to the chagrin of my mother. But we would literally like play catch. We used to have, like, if you guys remember, like kind of like the railway houses where you had like the dining room and the living room. And so we would I would stand at the end of the dining room and my brother would stand at the end of the living room. We would throw baseball back and forth in the house and play catch. But we were good. We weren't going to mess the ball, so it was okay. But anyway, I also just wanted to say a couple of things. My brother is one of the very important men in my life. My father, I don't even remember if you mentioned it, but my daddy, he was the one that let me play ball. We played in we had a minor league team, and my daddy was the coach, and I think he was the coach because he wanted to make sure his little girl could play ball. And I'll never forget the Tower Unemployment Agency. And remember when we were sponsored in the local town by companies and stuff. And I'll never forget the opening day game. Me and another little boy, we had the uniforms that we all got, but they were so big on us because we were really tiny little guys. My daddy went to his car and he cut wire because he was an electrician. He had wound wire around our belts. So they made belts so that our pants wouldn't fall down during the game. Unfortunately, my dad can't be with us tonight, but him and my mother have been very large supporters over all the years. And as Chris said, he would see me down in Florida every year. My parents would also travel down to Florida and support Fred and the team. And I still remember my mother one time coming to the mound as I was warming up, and she would come out and she would put suntan lotion on my ears so that I wouldn't get burned. She was very worried about me getting burned out in the Florida sun. But again, they were great supporters. I greatly appreciate them. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the most important man in my life here at Widener University, Mr. Fred Dorman, who unfortunately could not be here tonight. But while I was at the university, he really was a very big part of my life. He was kind of like a stand-in dad, a mentor. He took really good care of me. And anytime I was nervous to pitch a game or to do anything, he would be sitting there with, a chocolate bar in hand, say, "Here, Jen, have some chocolate, you'll be good." But he was really great. And I really wish he could be here to celebrate with me tonight. And I wish my dad could be here too. But thank you, everybody, for everything. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Great job. Great job.